Adex Mining has recently announced the first phase of drilling at its property in New Brunswick. Will the junior miner be able to capitalize from high metals prices? To find out, we're going to talk to Kabir Ahmed. He is president and CEO of Adex Mining. Good to see you this morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Linda. Thank you for inviting me to your program.
Now, I gather that this property in New Brunswick was previously mined. It was owned by BHP Billiton. Tell us what's there and what state did they leave the site in?
Yes, the property hosts four metals, two mineral deposits, one being a tungsten and molybdenum deposit, and the other being a tin and indium deposit. The tungsten and molybdenum deposit was the site of previous operations by BHP Billiton between 1982 and 85, and during the 3 years that they were in operation, they milled approximately 1 million tons of ore, but unfortunately in 1985, when metal prices collapsed, they had to permanently shutter down the mine.
Yeah, of course, we know what metal prices are doing recently, but you still have, I presume, a number of steps to go through to get this up and back into production?
Yes, we do. And what we've just announced, as you mentioned, Linda, is we've announced an exploration program. Our first target is the tungsten and molybdenum zone, simply because it was the past producing site, and so it's easier to get that to production than the other zone. What we've done is we've instituted a program of exploration and definition drilling, and we'll be upgrading the mineral resources to current National Instrument 43101 standards, which I'm sure you're familiar with, and that will enable us to move to feasibility and ultimately to production.
Oh, we don't hear a lot about doing business in New Brunswick in the mining industry. What's it like there versus, say, Quebec, which has done a lot to try to promote mining?
The Quebec jurisdiction is very friendly. However, New Brunswick is also clamoring for support for the mining sector. The Premier of New Brunswick, the Honourable Sean Graham, has certainly indicated that mining is very critical to their self-sustainability program for 2026.
And how are you funding the exploration and what will presumably eventually be development of the mine?
We've done a series of equity financings totaling $12 million. Most recently, we did a $3 million flow-through financing, which will fully fund the exploration drill program to the end of 2008.
And that's till 2008. Now, you say you're going to start with the tungsten and molybdenum, but you've got that tin and indium sitting in the background. When do you hope to turn your attention to that?
I think in the next 6 months, we're going to be focusing our attraction on that as well, and again, bringing those resource estimates to indicated and measured status, again, which will allow us to move to feasibility and ultimately to production. Interestingly enough, you probably know that indium is a very in-demand metal. It's used as a thin film coating for LCD and flat-screen TVs, and also used for photovoltaic cells. So I think there's a great blue sky potential for that zone as well.
Right. Now, are you looking at bringing this into production on your own, or would you like to partner up with somebody who has experience in that area?
I think we're quite capable of bringing it to production on our own. We've got a very proven management and technical team here. But I think it's always advisable to look at partnership opportunities when they arise, and certainly we would be open to that to accelerate the pathway to production.
You may get partners. You may also get a takeover offer. Is that a possibility, you think?
That's always a possibility, Linda. As we execute on our development program and we each achieve milestones in development, certainly the value of the company will increase over time, and I think we might be attractive to a lot of majors.
Now, we have watched your stock. It had a nice spike in November, but it has been sliding since then and in a bit of a range at this point. Why do you think that is, and what do you have to do to get investors excited about your stock again?
I think all the junior mining companies have seen some volatility in the marketplace over the last 6 months. In our specific case, I think when we have drill results out to the market will clearly value the company at its full potential at that point. I think people are just waiting for the drill results.
I was going to say that. I guess there's not a lot you can tell us about what your even inferred reserves are at this point?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
On the tungsten moly, we have an inferred resource category estimate that we had done in 2006 by Watts Griffiths McEwitt. At that time, they indicated that there were 13 million tons of tungsten and molybdenum. The tungsten grade was approximately 0.35%, and the molybdenum grade was 0.2%. What that means is approximately 100 million pounds of tungsten and approximately 60 million pounds of molybdenum. And in the in-ground value at today's market price, we estimate above $2 billion of value here.
Okay, so now you just have to get ready to get it out of the ground.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming in and telling us about it this morning.
Thank you, Linda. It's been my pleasure.
Our guest this morning has been Kabir Ahmed. He is president and CEO of Adex Mining. And that's today's Power Breakfast.